All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning, Shravan. Hi, Tanmay. Hi, Arya. आर्यवीर तुम्हारा नाम बहुत सॉलिड है यार. आर्यवीर. All right. So I hope you guys were able to discuss yesterday's last class ka homework. Like it was nothing major. I had asked you to watch certain videos, as well as I had asked you to read from the 11th class NCRT. Right, वो NCRT भी मैंने उधर ही group पे I had shared with you. So hope that was an introductory part of atomic structure chapter, which you all were able to get. Now, are there any students who have joined in today? Like,
Yes.
that's
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay. Great. So there are some five, 7 students as I can make out. Like, did you guys get a chance to go through the recordings and the like PDF lectures that I shared last time?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, greater than you guys are, not completely lost. You guys have some context in terms of where we are in the chapter. All right. Now, as I said, the last class was something where it was mostly, you can say, the recap of what you would have studied or talked about atomic structure in your junior classes. In today's class, we are going to continue from there only, but with a taste of a little higher side. Like we are in 11th class today, so we are going to now, or actually you are in 10th class, but like this is 11th class ka content that you are studying. So you are going to be able to, learn something extra, which might be useful in your future exams. Now, as a quick understanding, मैं एक बार दे देता हूँ आप लोगों को. In the last class, we had spoken about the cathode ray tube experiment and what modifications were done to understand it, understand the cathode rays. We watched certain videos also to help understand how these modifications were done. We talked about anode rays. We understood about electrons, the charge of electrons through Millikan's oil drop experiment. We understood the concept of quantized charge, and then we delved into these results which were related to the electron, proton, and neutron. Then we spoke about Thomson's model of atom and how Rutherford's gold foil scattering experiment was able to completely discard it. And it's like animation, or not animation, I should say simulation, is what we explored. And this is something where we left in the last class. Now, coming back to today's class, I will be discussing our doubts. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you to attempt this question. So it's a question in which we went into details of what Rutherford's gold foil scattering experiment was. Okay, so this kind of a diagram here is a setup of Rutherford's gold foil scattering experiment. यहाँ पर this is a source of the alpha particles. It is emitting alpha particles. Right here, this vertical thing is the metal foil, right? And this metal foil, it is like most of the alpha particles are going straight through, but some alpha particles are getting deflected. So this, you can say, microscope or sensor is something which is helping to figure out where those deflected particles are coming, and then the angle of deflection is also being measured, right? So Rutherford ke jo PhD students the, these two guys, I don't know if I can pronounce their names correctly, like Giger, and I'm sure there is something silent over here. Like, any guesses which alphabet might be silent?
The letter S.
S.
Yes. Yeah, I also think so. Maybe that's true. So these two were his actually PhD students who were working under Rutherford, and they were the ones who actually designed this experiment. Like, it is actually contributed or said that it's Rutherford's Goldfault scattering experiment, and who are these two guys? They are not even mentioned. But yeah, if you actually go into the literature a little more deeper, these guys get due recognition in terms of their design and their study of the experiment. So what they were able to achieve, like, I have put in some numerical relationships over here, that this value S, that is the number of alpha particles emerging per minute from a scattering foil at a given angle. Like, that is the definition of S. This is what they calculated by modifying certain parameters of the experiment. So what were these results? We don't know, we don't get into the derivation of it, like how they arrived at it, but yeah. So if you can see, this is what mathematically this value of S was coming proportional to. Now assume without derivation that I have given you this piece of information. Okay, and you can read the meaning of the terms. Okay, what is phi, what is T, what is Qn, what is kinetic energy, like all those things you can read up in this paragraph over here. Assume this is like an NTSC question. You guys have been given this piece of information and being asked that which of the following predictions or observations are true in terms of these options, and it can be one or more than one correct. Like, it can be like two options or three options correct. So you can carefully understand the options and try to answer. Now, the only problem that I think is, are you guys able to like clearly see on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Too small.
Yes, sir.
I think if you are using your mobile and if you click on your screen, you can zoom on to a particular portion of the screen. And you click back on your or tap back on your screen to zoom out.
Sir,
Is anyone facing a problem?
sir, can you tell how to zoom in laptops?
Um,
Really?
there is something called
Sir, control
There
plus.
is a view there is a view option on top. You are viewing Gaurav Jastoria screen. Their view option.
Sir,
There,
you can zoom in by control plus.
See, solutions all the way. Thank you, guys. In the meantime, if anyone had any doubts from the previous discussion that we did, let me know.
What does magnitude of foil atom charge mean?
जैसे, हाँ, जैसे गोल्ड का फॉइल लिया या एल्यूमिनियम का फॉइल लिया, तो उसके अंदर जो न्यूक्लियस है उसमें अंदर कितने प्रोटॉन्स हैं? जैसे एल्यूमिनियम के एटम के अंदर वी हैड 13 प्रोटॉन्स. कॉपर एटॉमिक नंबर इज 29. तो दैट मींस कॉपर के
the
अंदर का,
BNC.
हाँ,
BNC.
अच्छा नहीं, आंसर्स आई वुड लाइक यू टू कीप विद योरसेल्फ एंड ओनली शेयर
Sorry,
द
sir.
आंसर्स ऑन द चैट बॉक्स. लाइक, डोंट से देम आउट लाउड. आई डोंट वांट others to be influenced. Just type in your answers on the chat box, in the chat box. All right, mix of options are coming. So I think what I'm getting is most of you are in agreement with between A and B options. Most of you are very clear in terms of selecting the B option. That number of particles scattered through different angles was found to be decreasing with increasing angle. So this is something which, even if I would have not presented this mathematical relationship in front of you, you would have remembered from a discussion in the last class that 99% of the particles, or more than 99%, went straight through, right? And then very less particles, very less percentage of the particles were deflected at angles. So if the angle of deflection is observed, okay, if it's a larger angle, then lesser will be the number of particles that will be seen, right? And this is something which you can also now observe mathematically, right? Kis tarike se? Now, if you have the particle coming, say, left to right, and we are talking about its deflection, right? The max it can do is it can return back. ठीक है, so उसका जो deflection का angle है वो 0 से 180 के बीच में रह सकता है, right? And this is what is called as phi. So phi is being called from 0 to 180 degree. So phi by 2 will be from 0 to 90 degree, right? And sine phi by 2 will be then from 0 to 1, right? So what you can see, it is in the denominator. So if phi increases, the denominator value increases, and as a result, S value decreases, right? So I think that way you can also think and make sense of B option. Correct. Now, yes, there is a debate amongst all of you in terms of which is the correct one between C and D. All right, so let's put that to also a conclusion. In terms of the deflections, like yahan par, if you can understand that S, okay, we are taking, let's say what we should do is we should draw just a horizontal, or sorry, a vertical line. Okay, we have a vertical line, so that T, okay, T, which represents the thickness of the foil, that is kept same. Okay, so for a given value of T, what we are observing is S ka value is coming greater for silver, then lesser for copper, and even lesser for aluminium, right? So what you can see is S was directly proportional to the charge on the foil. Okay, charge on the foil atom, like inside the nucleus, how many protons were there, right? So if there were more protons in the atom, like what we are seeing is that the S value will be greater. So if I look at the C graph, okay, what I can actually see, aluminium, which has lesser Q, has lesser value of S. Copper, which has a greater Q, has a greater value of S, and same goes for silver. So this will then make me conclude that C option will be the correct one rather than the D option. ये समझ में आया?
Sir, can you repeat?
हाँ.
This C option.
हाँ. So observe करना. Notice this highlighted relationship that S is directly proportional to QL. And this is something which we would observe when we keep all the other things constant, right? So हम लोग alpha particle की kinetic energy नहीं change कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? The same set of alpha particles are passing through all the three foils. We are also not changing thickness of the foil, right? So what we are doing is we are just noticing for a given thickness, what is the value of S going to be? Okay. So we are fixing the T part as well. And of course, the phi part is also something which we are observing at a particular angle only. Okay. So what we are seeing now is that S is directly proportional to the atomic number, ठीक है, this Qn you can also replace it with the atomic number of the metal atom, right? Now if you look at the atomic number of the metal atoms that we have, so if greater is the atomic number, greater is the value of S. So if I look at the three metals that are given to me, aluminum, it has lesser atomic number, lesser value of S. Copper, greater atomic number, greater value of S. Silver, even greater value of atomic number, greater value of S. This is what is coming from the S graph, whereas from the D graph, it is the opposite way around.
Okay, sir.
सर
हाँ.
सर ये जो चार हम लोग के पास एक्सप्रेशंस है
Mhm.
ये सब डिराइव किए गए हैं एक दूसरे से या ये सब इंडिपेंडेंटली आए हैं कहीं से?
हाँ, so this is actually coming from the experimental observations which Rutherford and his students did, and then what they did was they actually worked on the physics related aspects also. So what they did was this is something which goes in details, that you have an alpha particle, it is q1 charge, and you have an atom which is q2 charge, right? And if this particle is coming in like ekdam head on collision, right, तो कैसा रहेगा? If it is coming at an angle, then कैसा collision रहेगा? So they did the mathematical understand, they developed the mathematical understanding also behind it. And of course all of this is supported with the experimental evidence also, in which they validated their claims with different experimental observations.
ओके
ठीक है, so इनकी derivation में, इनकी details में हम लोग नहीं जाते, it requires a little bit more rigor, but yes, of course, if you are given this, say, piece of information to help understand how Rutherford's scattering experiment would have been if instead of gold silver was used, then what modifications would have been observed? Instead of a like super thin foil, slightly greater thickness ka foil would have been used, so what would have been the observation, right? So the reason why we don't study all these in detail in our regular syllabus is because they all do not change the fact that the model of atom that was proposed by Rutherford, okay, that all the most of the alpha particles are going straight through, and some deflections at small angle, and very few deflections at larger angles. वो सब केस में valid रहता है. All right, so this brings in your Rutherford's model related calculations.
So these calculations were done by his students and not Rutherford, right?
हाँ, this is developed by his students. Of
Okay.
course Rutherford would have validated later, but हाँ, मतलब the
Okay, sir.
major work is done by these two guys. हाँ, so Nehal का doubt है, sir, the graph is between S and T, then how can we relate it to the charge? तो आप यहाँ पर notice करो ना, S versus T graph है, definitely S versus T graph है. However, what I did was I fixed the value of T, right? For a given thickness of the foil, I observed the S value for different elements. ठीक है, had I been just given कि aluminium का ही मुझे ग्राफ दिया होता, ठीक है, मुझे बाकी एलिमेंट्स का नहीं दिया होता, तो I would have been I would have fallen short of data. However, यहाँ पे आप notice करो ना, that for a given T, I can see that with increase in atomic number, S is increasing, which is in line with my observation. That's what made me select the C option, right? What does S stand for? ये मैंने starting में बोला था ना यहाँ पर, right? S is the number of alpha particles emerging per minute from the scattering foil at an angle phi. Number of alpha particles हो गया basically. For very simple understanding, S represented the number of alpha particles. Okay, although the technical understanding was per minute at a particular angle. ठीक है? All right. Now, coming back to the drawback of Rutherford's model, ये भी आप लोगों ने junior classes में पढ़ा हुआ है, right? Most of you have studied this. Anyone who would want to elaborate on this particular drawback?
So the drawback in the Rutherford's model, that he proposed that the charge electron was moving in circles, but in any moving object loses energy. So
eventually it should spiral around.
Sir, can I?
it
So
would
I can for this
eventually
one.
spiral around and get collided with the nucleus.
थोड़ा सा और
So
technically,
charged particle in
can I-
motion releases radiations in form of energy, which causes a loss of energy, and eventually it spirals down and it collides with the nucleus and
Sir, can I
atom
elaborate?
collapses.
हाँ बोलो ईशान, तुम बोलो.
Sir, when it goes around in a circle, any particle going around the circle accelerates. So it radiates energy and finally it falls into the nucleus.
Sir, it's in a it's in a magnetic field, and a conductor or a charged particle in magnetic field, if it moves, then it should like by the theory of electromagnetism, it should release energy. And if it releases enough energy at a point, then it will run out of kinetic energy to stay in orbit, and it will fall to the nucleus.
So can I say?
बोलो.
So when the electron revolves around the proton, it needs energy to be moving with the same speed, but वो charged है and opposite charge के इसमें घूम रहा है, तो it radiates out energy and धीरे धीरे उसका जो radius है वो छोटा होता जाता है, and then according to Maxwell theory वो अब बहुत जल्दी बहुत छोटा होके directly nucleus के अंदर चला जाता है, क्योंकि nucleus का जो charge है उससे दूर रहने का energy उसके अंदर खत्म हो जाता है.
Now let me, like most of you have been able to give me the correct explanation. However, the thing is that ये जो Rutherford's का drawback है, right? This is based on a theory called as electromagnetism, right? James Clerk Maxwell in 1850s, 1860s, he developed this theory of electromagnetism. Okay, long before the Rutherford's model. Rutherford's model was came in around 1900s. तो उसके काफी पहले 1870s में, in fact, this theory of electromagnetism had come in. Now, this theory of electromagnetism was the study of charged particles and magnets, right? And as I said, कि उस time पर this theory was the greatest area of research. 1850s में electricity and magnetism were being studied by scientists all across the world. And Maxwell, who presented this theory of electromagnetism, he combined both these two observations of electric field and magnetic field into one unified theory. He proposed and proved the fact that magnetism is not an independent property. In fact, it is something related to moving charges only. So he said that both these properties, they are related to each other, that a moving charge can produce magnetic field and a magnetic field can result in current. Like he developed this theory of electromagnetism to unify both the concepts. Now, what are the details of this theory? They are quite elaborate. They are quite detailed. In fact, ये इतने detailed हैं that for you guys right now, and even in class 12th also, you will not study this theory completely. आप इसके parts study करोगे, something which is related to a static charge, like electrostatics से आप start करोगे, the name of the chapter will be electrostatics, in which charge is stationary, and जो stationary charge के आप properties observe करोगे. ठीक है, एक पूरा बड़ा सा chapter रहेगा called electrostatics. Then फिर आप बाद में ऐसे current और magnetism के बारे में भी पढ़ोगे अलग अलग से, ठीक है, but you will not really get into the details of the theory of electromagnetism. So to understand the drawback in Rutherford's model, you guys have to take a leap of faith. That leap of faith is that this theory of electromagnetism, what it proposed was that when a charged particle accelerates in an electric field, then it must lose energy continuously in form of radiation. Okay, ये important words थे which came from this theory. And when these words were applied to the atom proposed by Rutherford, for example, you can see charged particle. So you see that electron is a charged particle, right? It is accelerating, right? So electron is revolving around the nucleus, and when it revolves, it goes in circular motion, even if its speed is constant. ठीक है, डायरेक्शन चेंज हो रहा है कंटिन्यूअसली. डायरेक्शन चेंज हो रहा है मतलब वेलोसिटी चेंज हो रही है. आई होप यू गाइस अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्पीड एंड वेलोसिटी.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So speed भले ही constant हो, but direction is continuously changing, which means its velocity is continuously changing, which means the particle is under an acceleration. So this electron is in an acceleration in an electric field. किसका electric field? Of the nucleus. Right? The nucleus is a positively charged object or a positively charged body which has an electric field around it, and the electron is accelerating in it. And because of this statement that came from theory of electromagnetism, which is applicable in this situation to an atom as well, what should happen is that the electron must continuously lose energy and in form of radiation and collapse onto the nucleus. However, ऐसा हो नहीं रहा था. Like we were not observing the electron to be collapsing inside the nucleus. So this became a drawback. This became a drawback of Rutherford's model. That Rutherford had proposed that electron is revolving around the nucleus, but the theory of electromagnetism seemed to contradict this. And at that point in time, Rutherford was not able to present an argument to, overcome this drawback. This was a major drawback which was there in Rutherford's model. Now, as you would know, that after Rutherford's model, which model of atom comes?
Bohr.
Bohr's model.
Bohr's model of atom. However, before getting into the details of Bohr's model of atom, we would actually be next studying the theory of light, because this theory is something that is used by Niels Bohr to help overcome this drawback in Rutherford's model. क्योंकि आप लोगों ने junior classes में पढ़ा ही होगा, right? That Bohr's model is also on the same lines. Like you have nucleus and electron revolving around it. ऐसा कुछ path breaking change नहीं हो गया था in the Bohr's model of atom. However, what changed was the theory about light, which helped Bohr develop his model of atom. Now, how that theory of light changed in the same period of time, that is something interesting for us to observe and understand. So before moving on to Bohr's model of atom, we will talk about this theory of light. Now, as an introductory perspective, long back, Newton के ज़माने में, like you can say centuries back, the theory of light that was proposed by Newton was in which he considered light to be made up of tiny particles called corpuscles of light. And using this theory, like assuming that light is made up of particles and these particles are moving from one place to another place and they are colliding and because of that, he was able to explain the phenomena of reflection and refraction. These were the most common observations about light that we had that point in time. However, around the same time, or you can say soon after it, there was this contesting theory which was proposed by Thomas Huygens related to the wave nature of lights. Now, what is meant by this wave nature of light is really, really interesting. It's very interesting, which was demonstrated, or you can say, consolidated by Thomas Young in his experiment using double slits. So he put an end to the debate between the particle theory and the wave theory of light and concluded that light behaves like waves in his experiment called as Young's double slit experiment. How many of you have seen this Young's double slit experiment before? Any idea? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So I am expecting that 80% students have not seen, right? There are only 10-20% students who have seen. But for those who have seen as well, like there is this interesting explanation in Veritasam ka video hai. I think Lalit, you and I are talking about the same video only. So ये YouTube का link मैं आप लोगों के साथ में share करता हूँ. It's a 7-minute something का video only, right? But अच्छा video है, and it's a very interesting way he has described.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I was not talking about the video. I was telling about what is written before of 18th century. There was some word now. I couldn't understand what you wrote.
Acha, beginning of 18th century.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. So I've shared this link with you on the Zoom chat only. See if you can click and go to this video and watch it and then come back.
Yes, sir. Done.
हाँ, 2 minute wait कर लेते हैं till all the other kids are also back.
Sir,
हाँ.
so what would means I was not able to understand. I was able to understand that the light is a wave because of which it is forming that colorful pattern inside the box. But if you consider the light as a particle, then what would have been our result?
मैं वही बताता हूँ. I will elaborate.
Sir,
Sir, is this
but the light they say is formed of photons, no?
हाँ. So that is the theory that
So
we.
please a minute to watch the video.
हाँ, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ. 2 minute रुक जाओ. Let's let others also complete it, and then we'll resume our discussion.
Sir,
हाँ.
sir, in the theory of electromagnetism, why is it said that the charged particles should lose the energy?
Right. So that is something which goes into the details of the theory of electromagnetism, that when a charged particle, this is when a charged particle is static, okay, it's not moving, right? It has a uniform electric field around it, and when it starts to accelerate, right, what happens is that the electric field which it had is no longer uniform. That electric field also gets disturbed, and it kind of oscillates, and that oscillating electric field like produces an oscillating magnetic field in parallel. So this is something, as I said, like we don't go into the details right over here because it is getting into the details of what electricity and magnetism are. And that is what I said, ki yahan par, like we took that leap of faith, going from the theory of electromagnetism, picking up this statement and applying it over the atom.
Thank you, sir.
Now, coming back, so I hope you guys have watched the videos or just the video that I shared.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
I'm sure आप लोगों को इसमें कुछ doubts भी होंगे. Like you might have not completely understood certain aspects. Now, let me go through that video in terms of the key highlights that were present in that video. Right? So, किस तरीके से the setup was, to put it in very simple terms. Like focus here on the left hand side. Let me kind of remove that. You had a source of light. Okay? And in front of that source, you had a barrier with 2 slits, right? This was, you can say, screen 1, right? And it had got 2 openings. We call them as 2 slits. And behind screen 1, there is another screen 2 for you to see what would happen if light from this source would pass through these openings and come on this second screen. Now, what was the observation that you would have seen, okay, if you try to reconstruct this simple setup at home only? If the slits that you make are quite large, okay, for example, let's say you have a source of light, एक कोई आप dark room में जाना, ठीक है, you have a dark room का setup, and let's say you have a source of light, ठीक है, it can be not a bright source, don't take it to be a bright source, because then it will light up the room and inhibit your observation. Take a faint source only, not a very bright source of light, and then you pass that light through two slits. But अगर ये slits का size बड़ा है, ठीक है, when I say बड़ा है, like in the sense, for example, if it is the size of you can say a marble also, okay, then also it is a very, very big size of the slit. Then what you are actually going to see on the screen are two dots corresponding to these, to the light coming from these two holes. Then you are actually not going to see what this experiment talks about if you take larger size of slits. But if you design the experiment in a way in which the size of the slits is quite small, okay, that's an important property, that's an important aspect of this experiment, that the slits they are like, you can say, pinholes, like very, very small, size very small. And then you repeat the experiment, then what will happen is that instead of seeing two dots corresponding to the two slits, what you are going to see is a pattern. You are going to see that there will be a dark spot, there will be a bright spot, then uske baaju mein there will be dark region, then bright spots, okay, then again dark spots followed by bright spots, and so on. This will keep on fainting down. This kind of pattern will emerge, and this kind of pattern is what was interesting to understand, because as a part of normal understanding, from these two holes the light should come and you should see two spots where the light should be present, but what you see is this pattern. Now this is what Thomas Young explained is because of wave nature of light. So coming to this nature of light, long back what Newton had proposed was particle nature of light. Particle nature of light mein Newton had proposed that light is made up of certain particles, and if those particles is what we particle theory is what we put over here, right, that light is coming in form of a stream of particles, right, then what you would have observed is those particles which are like colliding with the screen one, they will get reflected, but those which are passing through the screen will go and create the two projections. Okay, that is what the particle theory would have predicted. But what we were seeing is something different, and this was something which could not have been explained by the particle theory, that light is made up of particles, and then how these particles are making this pattern up is not something which had been possible by the particle theory. That is where the wave theory of light made an impact. That is what in this video was stressed upon, that if light was to be considered like a wave, then this pattern could have been explained. So light, when it was passed through these two slits, okay, then these two slits, they became the source of light, right? So if you have a source of light, just say, the light is coming and it is passing through these two slits, and these slits should be small enough, okay, then the slit itself becomes a source of light. So the slit 1 became a source of light, and the slit 2 also became a source of light. And when the light from these two sources, it interacted with each other, similar to how waves interact with each other, then what we observed was a final pattern getting formed on the screen. And that pattern was a result of this interaction between the two light waves, and we call this as interference. ठीक है, ये जो phenomena है जिसमें light from one source and other source is interacting with each other, we call this interference. This is something which is called as a wave property. ठीक है, waves के बारे में जो knowledge थी scientist को, वो इसके पहले से ही थी, राइट? ऐसा नहीं था कि wave की knowledge scientist को उस टाइम पे develop हुई. Like उसके पहले they had made observations regarding waves, and they knew that waves have certain different properties as compared to particles. And this is something which you can observe in form of a simple observation of collisions. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे आप नोटिस करना, जैसे दो पार्टिकल्स लेफ्ट टू राइट और एक राइट टू लेफ्ट आ रहा है, and they meet up at a location, then what we observe for particles is called as collision. ठीक है, what will happen? This particle and this particle will collide with each other, and then based upon the momentum that they had, based upon the direction of collision that they had, following the Newton's laws of motion, we can understand that what will be the final outcome. Law of conservation of energy and law of conservation of momentum apply kar, we will be able to understand what will be the outcome. ठीक है? However, when waves undergo something similar, like for example, यहाँ पर आप notice करना, एक wave है, ठीक है? I've drawn this kind of a crest and trough representing a wave. This wave is going from right to left, ठीक है? And another wave, identical wave, is coming from right to left, ठीक है? And when these waves meet up, then what we observe is something different. What we observe, ठीक है, you can think of these waves as water ripples only. तो एक ripple, water का ripple left to right जा रहा है और एक ripple right to left आ रहा है. And when they meet up, something different is observed. We don't see something like collision. We observe something different, and that is why for waves we don't use the word collision. We use something called as interference. Now what is that interference? वो आप यहाँ पर observe देखना that when these two waves meet up with each other, then what can happen is, if let's say the crest of one wave, ठीक है, this was one wave, and उसी के ऊपर exactly दूसरा wave meet कर रहा है, like the crest and the crest overlap, then what we observe is that the waves, they add up to form a larger wave. The dots में, blue dots में मैंने represent करा है, is that when the crests overlap with the crests, ठीक है, then what you see is a larger wave, a higher crest and a lower trough, and this is called as a constructive interference. What can happen is, instead of crest overlapping with crest, maybe these two waves are coming in a manner that this is one wave, okay? This is one wave and this is the other wave, okay? And the crest is overlapping with trough. So what will happen is that the crest and trough, they cancel out each other, and what you will have net is a flat line over here when the crests overlap with troughs. This is called as destructive interference. Now, definitely, when I'm going to help you visualize this with a video again, you will be in a much better position to understand this, that what is happening with waves when they are made to interfere with each other. What is constructive and what is destructive interference. So let me ask you to watch one more video to understand this wave property. ठीक है, मैं फिर से लाइट के ऊपर आऊंगा, but I would want you to first understand this wave property of interference, and then we will come back to the discussion of light as well. Okay, so give me just a moment.
So,
हाँ,
I mean, I don't know if it's a trivial observation, but the adding, like the interference of waves looks like adding two functions. Um, when you
yeah.
add two
So,
functions also, you take the heights and you place them on top of each other, right? So, I mean, like if you were to take the two graphs of two functions and add them, that's kind of what interference of waves also looks like.
Right. So this is
Yeah.
something which is called as the principle of superimposition.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, if these light waves, if this light is a wave, then how can it travel through vacuum? Because essentially, a waves needs a medium to travel, right?
It is both.
No, not necessarily.
Wave.
We'll talk
Not
about it.
necessary.
Not necessary. We'll talk
Sir,
about it.
in destructive interference, the same wave is one. I understood the constructive interference, but in destructive interference, the same waves come from two another directions. But sir, they are not overlapping. The one of the crest is just touching the another craft, no?
So मैं भाई आपको explain करता हूँ. I will want to actually explain and go into details of this, but उसके पहले like watch this video.
Okay, sir.
जो मैंने आप लोगों के साथ शेयर करा है, ठीक है? अच्छा, you can actually go on YouTube and like you can mute the video because इस video के background में ना there is some noise that comes. I don't know if it is annoying to me only, but इस video के background में there is this noise that comes. So if you switch off the audio, it will be better. ठीक है? एक बार आप देखो. No need to watch the entire video. Like just starting 3-4 minutes is good enough, and then we'll again discuss.
Sir, link.
हाँ, लिंक मैंने चैट में भेज दिया. दोबारा भेज देता हूँ.
Sir,
हाँ.
sir, ये जो दूसरा केस है when a true and a crest they overlap. So it happens a condition when one particle it is expected at the same time to go upward as well as downward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they cancel out each other.
Right.
So please doubts after the video.
Yeah. Alright, so पूरा वीडियो नहीं देखना, उसमें वैसे भी आगे like I think they
Yes, sir. This passing of waves after the third experiment.
हाँ मतलब so I think 3-4 मिनट का ही देखना है, पूरा नहीं देखना. But I don't know if guys who have gone on YouTube can hear me. Only those
So
on
the waves added up each other only for a moment.
हाँ like right. So for example,
Yes,
यहाँ
and in
पर
the third one, they are cancelled out also for a moment and then they again rebounded.
Because they have to be in the same position, right?
नहीं, they don't rebound, they just pass through. मतलब मान लो जैसे लेफ्ट से राइट वेव जा रहा था और राइट से लेफ्ट वेव आ रहा था, when they destructively interfered, they cancel out. Then लेफ्ट वाला अपने मतलब जो वेव जा रहा था वो डायरेक्शन में जाता जाएगा, लेफ्ट वाला राइट जा रहा
This
था
happens
जाता
for
जाएगा.
just a moment of time.
हाँ.
And is it same in constructive also? They enlarges for just a moment of time and they again goes
Right.
there. Okay.
So I had a question.
हाँ बोलो असीम.
So why does the light in that pattern that we saw, why does the light start fading towards the end?
मैं उस एक्सपेरिमेंट पे आता हूँ अभी. Let me just first talk about this wave nature, then I will come to this fading part as well.
Yes, sir.
So this means if the height of one wave is 1 unit and the height of the second wave is 2 units, so for that moment the height wave of the large wave will become 3 units, like
Right.
that.
Yes, and
Right.
again it would become 2 and 1 in their respective directions.
Right.
So saw the video.
हाँ वही I think most of you are watching the complete video only, so I'll wait a minute or two for everyone to come back and then we will resume.
But we'd have to, when we talk about adding the units, we'd have to make sure that we're following the sign convention also.
हाँ. True.
So I have a doubt. So when two crests are overlapping, they're becoming one big wave only for like a moment.
Yes.
So then shouldn't we also see the spots of light, like dark light, only for a moment?
नहीं, so उसमें continuously light आ रही है ना. Like in the experiment that you saw, if you notice, a pulse was coming.
Yes, sir. Here only once the person is moving the wave and there the light was continuously.
The light was continuously coming in. It was not just one pulse. From sun, the light is continuously coming in, na? And that's why you are seeing this pattern continuously.
So can you tell what actually is a pulse?
Pulse is just, you can say, a part of a wave, a disturbance that is momentary. So in order to understand the concept of pulse in a more simple manner, like imagine like there is this rope which is present and it is one end of it is connected to a wall. right? And the other end is with you, right? And in order to create a wave on this rope, what you do is you take this rope and you disturb this rope by taking it up or down. Okay? And if you do that just once, okay, then what you would have created is a pulse. That pulse is going to travel from then left to right.
Okay,
If
sir.
you keep
So,
on
so
doing
we can
this,
define it as a simple jerk on a medium.
if you keep on doing this, then what you would generate is called as a waveform. Like wave, pulse after pulse after pulse continuously coming in. That will be called as a waveform.
Okay, sir. So group of pulse is a wave.
Right.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Ha.
Sir, in the first video, it was said that due to the destructive forces, there was a black spot. Sir, so it is not necessary that the waves would meet at the screen 2 only.
It is not necessary what?
So like it is not necessary that the destructive interference is created at the screen too.
It is happening because of the, वही मैं अभी एक बार के लिए रुक जाओ, मैं आपका डाउट को इलैबोरेट करता हूँ. So I hope now everyone is back. Everyone has seen that video, although you are not required to watch the complete video. आपने स्टार्टिंग के 3-4 मिनट भी देखा होगा, तो you would have understood the concept of interference. That is what I wanted for you to understand. आगे का part was not something amplitude and वो सब details of waves वो हम बाद में देखेंगे. But what I wanted you to understand was this aspect of wave nature, in which this property of interference was being discussed. Okay? So when you have two waves like interfering with each other, what you can have is constructive interference or destructive interference or anything in between also. Like for example, if there is a wave, right, which is coming left to right, and there is another wave which is coming, say, right to left. Okay? And they are not exactly overlapping in a manner that crest overlaps with crest or troughs overlaps with trough. Then also what happens is something in between. Like what is going to happen is governed by a principle which is just simply adding up what will happen when the waves meet up. Okay?
So we can say that they are not purely double, but some more than the initial value of both the waves.
These are the two extremes. मतलब अगर crest is exactly overlapping with the crest, like one wave का crest is exactly overlapping other wave का crest के साथ में, then what we are seeing is constructive interference, that both of them add up for that moment. Then ये वाला wave अपने रास्ते, दूसरा वाला wave अपने रास्ते. ठीक है? Then the other extreme that can also happen is where crest overlaps with trough, right? Crest exactly overlaps with trough, and what happens is that these two exactly cancel out for a moment. Then एक wave अपने रास्ते, दूसरे wave अपने रास्ते. We call this as destructive interference. Now, of course, things can happen in between these two as well. However, noticeable for now is this constructive and destructive interference.
Select doubt.
Now, एक मिनट,
okay, sir.
Now, this phenomena, this property is something which is a property of waves. It is completely different from how particles would interact with each other. Particles के बारे में मैंने आपको क्या बताया? That particles undergo collisions.
Collision and law.
Particle left to right आ रहा है, right to left आ रहा है, they would collide with each other. And those collisions are again governed by Newton's laws of motion, and then आप लोग पढ़ोगे भी सही physics में how to solve how to use Newton's laws of motion to solve what will happen. But यहाँ पर waves के साथ में what we are seeing is not collision, is something which is this phenomena of interference. So that is what happens in the Young's double slit experiment also, that if you have this source of light and this source of light passes through these two holes, then these two holes, these two slits, they behave like new source of light, and the light from these two slits, they interact with each other, they interfere with each other, right? Similar to those that example of ripples in the pond, right? He had created two sources of ripples, and those two sources were creating their own water waves. But what we would see as a resultant was an interference of those two waves. And that was what was forming a pattern when observed on the screen. Ab water ka jo tha example, usme we didn't require any second screen because we could see those water waves with our eyes. But we can't see the light rays with our eyes. Only when they interact with matter, only when they fall onto the second screen, then we are able to see them. That's why a second screen was placed. So when the light was coming in from these two sources and was projected on the second screen, we were able to see that there is an interference pattern that got formed. ठीक है? हाँ, अब एक एक करके अपन doubts लेते हैं.
So the dots which are made, that reflection is actually of that meeting of that waves, right?
Right. So जहाँ पर, हाँ, जहाँ पर
that reflection.
Right. So ये wave fronts में जहाँ पर bright spot दिख रहा है, right? The bright spot was an indicative of constructive interference.
Constructive, and the part which we can't see was destructive.
हाँ, जहाँ पर ऐसे dark region था, like जहाँ पर we weren't able to see the light, this was, you can say, a dark spot, was the region where destructive interference happened. And this happened in a pattern manner, like constructive followed by destructive followed by constructive, and so on and so forth. And that pattern is what is called as an interference pattern that we observed. ठीक है? हाँ, और बताओ, अभी किसी ने हैंड रेज किया था? हाँ, बोलो असीम.
Yeah, sir. My previous question only, how does the light start fading towards the ends?
हाँ, मैं आता हूँ उस पर, रुक जाओ.
यस सर, मेरा डाउट ये था, मतलब इंटरफेरेंस जरूरी थोड़ी है वो स्क्रीन 2 पे होगा सर, वो मतलब बीच में भी हो सकता है या नहीं भी होगा तो?
हाँ, होगा ना, यहाँ पर बीच में भी होगा. द थिंग इज, आप स्क्रीन को थोड़ा आगे भी लेके आ जाओगे स्क्रीन 2 को, तो भी आपको दिखेगा. स्क्रीन 2 को थोड़ा पीछे भी लेके चले जाओगे, दिखेगा. द थिंग इज, देखने के लिए व्हाट वी आर यूजिंग स्क्रीन 2, बिकॉज यू कांट सी लाइट विद नेकेड आई, नो.
Okay, sir.
Only when it interacts with matter, then you can see it.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है. हाँ, बोलो मीनाक्षी.
सर, डिस्ट्रक्टिव फोर्स में वो कैसे ओवरलैप हो रहा है?
डिस्ट्रक्टिव इंटरफेरेंस में, like this part.
Yes, sir.
So the crest is overlapping with the trough. ठीक है. So now what is going to happen? ठीक है. What is the resultant that is going to happen is governed by this principle called as principle of superimposition. ठीक है. What is that principle of superimposition? बहुत ही simple words में बता देता हूँ मैं. ये जो dashed line मैंने यहाँ पर बताई है, this black dashed line, this is what this is called as mean position, right? So now if you have a waveform जिसका amplitude a है and दूसरा भी waveform आ गया जिसका amplitude a था, तो what will happen? ठीक है, इसके ऊपर को पॉजिटिव और नीचे को नेगेटिव बोलते हैं, तो ये a plus a मिलकर 2a बन जाएगा. ठीक है. जैसे यहाँ पर आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे, यहाँ पर दिस इज माइनस ए, राइट, एंड इसमें माइनस ए को ही मैं ऐड कर रहा हूँ, ट्रफ विद ट्रफ. सो व्हाट विल हैपन, रिजल्टेंट you will get is minus 2a as the amplitude. ठीक है. So this is what principle of superimposition is, that at any particular place you just add up the amplitudes of the two waves and you will get the resultant amplitude which will come as a result of interference. जैसे इस पॉइंट पर, ठीक है, राइट एट दिस स्पॉट, ठीक है, दोनों वेव्स का एम्पलीट्यूड 0 था. ठीक है. तो फाइनली एड अप करके भी यहाँ पर यू कैन सी एम्पलीट्यूड 0 ही रहेगा. ठीक है. इस प्लेस पर दोनों वेव्स का एम्पलीट्यूड a एंड a था एंड एड अप करके वो 2a आ गया. इस प्लेस पर दोनों वेव का एम्पलीट्यूड -a था, तो वो फाइनली एड अप करके -2a आ गया. इस तरीके से ये यूज करा जाता है, ठीक है। नाउ अब क्योंकि ये जो पार्ट है ये एक्चुअली फिजिक्स में आपको कराया जाता है, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सुपर इम्पोजिशन, तो आई डोंट वांट टू एक्चुअली गेट इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट राइट अवे, ठीक है। ये जो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सुपर इम्पोजिशन है ये आपको प्रैक्टिस कराएंगे फिजिक्स में 12th क्लास में। देयर विल बी अ चैप्टर कॉल्ड एज वेव ऑप्टिक्स, तो उसमें you will be actually going into details of the calculation of Young's double slit experiment.
सर
Now, हाँ बोलो।
सर ये दोनों वेव्स का एम्पलीट्यूड सेम होना चाहिए?
नहीं, बिल्कुल जरूरी नहीं है, ये फॉर द सेक ऑफ सिंप्लिसिटी मैंने यहाँ पे आइडेंटिकल वेव्स रखे हैं, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी जरूरी नहीं है।
सर अगर एम्पलीट्यूड सेम नहीं है तो डिस्ट्रक्टिव इंटरफेरेंस के बाद भी एक छोटा एम्पलीट्यूड रह जाएगा ना वेव में?
हाँ, कंप्लीट कैंसिलेशन नहीं होगा फिर। ट्रू। सो हाँ, नाउ कमिंग बैक, ये जो असीम का डाउट था, असीम का एक इम्पॉर्टेंट डाउट था दैट यू नो व्हाई लेट्स से व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट लाइट एज अ सोर्स कमिंग फ्रॉम दीज टू स्लिट्स, जो बीच के स्पॉट्स थे वो ब्राइटर थे, ठीक है, एंड एज वी वर मूविंग अवे then the spots were becoming lighter and lighter, ठीक है। So this is something which is, yes, an interesting observation which gets explained with the help of quantum theory of light. असीम, आपको क्वांटम थ्योरी ऑफ लाइट के बारे में आइडिया है?
No sir, not really.
अच्छा, तो फिर हम लोग जब क्वांटम थ्योरी ऑफ लाइट पढ़ेंगे ना, अभी हम लोग क्या पढ़ रहे हैं? वेव थ्योरी ऑफ लाइट. And definitely you have this question which is asking why this fading of dots happen as we move away from the center, like we move upward or downward, तो ये fading क्यों हो रहा है? And that is something to do with intensity, and what is the true meaning of intensity or brightness of a light, ये मैं आपको quantum theory के through explain करूँगा जब हम photons का concept introduce करेंगे. So it's a good question which explores how wave theory is going to be able to explain it, but the you can say more correct explanation comes from quantum theory, ठीक है. Or you can also like take a shot at it trying to understand that this brightness or intensity, ठीक है, it is something which is proportional to मैं लिखवा देता हूँ, मतलब लिखवा, इसको लिखना मत, कॉपी मत करना, एनर्जी पर यूनिट एरिया पर यूनिट टाइम, ठीक है. दिस इज व्हाट इंटेंसिटी इज. जो ब्राइटनेस हम लोग बात करते हैं, द थिंग दैट यू आर आस्किंग अबाउट, उसको टेक्निकली हम लोग इंटेंसिटी एज अ पैरामीटर के टर्म्स में लिखते हैं, विच इज एनर्जी पर यूनिट एरिया पर यूनिट टाइम. सो व्हाट यू कैन थिंक ऑफ इज दिस फेडिंग ऑफ brightness is because of the energy of light being concentrated in the central region and then fading away can be explained by the energy becoming spread out or lower as you move away from the center.
Okay sir.
ठीक है, that is another way of trying to understand. बाकी मैं quantum theory के through भी explain करूंगा इसे बाद में. हाँ, then एक और डाउट है आरिश का. Arish is asking that is the fading due to the waves not matching exactly? नहीं आरिश, वो जो waves not matching exactly की वजह से तो actually वो different colors दिख रहे थे, like red का अलग dot दिख रहा था, blue का अलग dot दिख रहा था. That was because of the different wavelengths which were there in the sunlight. Instead of sunlight, if you have say a monochromatic source, monochromatic का मतलब क्या होता है? That a single wavelength
colored light.
हाँ, मतलब कोई लेजर जैसे आपने लिया, ठीक है, तो लेजर से क्या होगा, एक पर्टिकुलर वेवलेंथ का लाइट ही निकल रहा होगा, ठीक है. उस केस में जब इंटरफेरेंस पैटर्न ऑब्जर्व करोगे तो वो काफी क्रिस्प सा, शार्प सा इंटरफेरेंस पैटर्न आपको ऑब्जर्व होगा.
Right, because then otherwise, if the frequencies are different, the shape of the waves looks much more complicated.
राइट राइट राइट, अगर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट वेवलेंथ्स आ रही है ना, तो when these different wavelengths they you know इंटरफेयर, मतलब वेवलेंथ आप लोगों को पता है कैसा होता है, लाइक फॉर अ वेव दिस इज व्हाट इज डिफाइंड एज अ वेवलेंथ, दिस यू कैन से डिस्टेंस बिटवीन सक्सेसिव क्रेस्ट एंड ट्रफ, ठीक है। तो अगर डिस्टेंस बिटवीन क्रेस्ट एंड ट्रफ चेंज हो रहा है तो देयर ओवरलैपिंग also gets influenced now, and that is why you are going to see a different positions where those interference happen. But if you take a single source which has a same wavelength being emitted, then the locations of constructive interference and destructive interference are pretty sharp. Like you can see focused bright spots and focused dark spots also. ठीक है। Now अच्छा, रजिक का डाउट है हाउ डज द वेव थ्योरी हेल्प इन रिमूविंग द ड्रॉबैक ऑफ रदरफोर्ड्स मॉडल। रजिक, अभी हम बहुत दूर है वहां से, अभी हम लोग पहले वेव थ्योरी को ढंग से समझेंगे, लाइट की थ्योरी को ढंग से समझेंगे, एंड फिर मैं बात कर पाऊंगा क्वांटम थ्योरी की, एंड उसके बाद में हम लोग फिर रदरफोर्ड्स मॉडल को ओवरकम कर पाएंगे। तो इट्स नॉट दैट डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड, थोड़ा सा पेशेंस रखो।
Okay, sir.
All right. Then after understanding this bit, ठीक है, that wave theory of light was now the more popular theory that explained the behavior of light. So in terms of again a chronological manner, ध्यान से समझना, पहले this particle theory of light came, then this wave theory of light came, and this was the one which was Young's double slit experiment की help से was substantiated and studied that light is behaving like a wave. Now,
Second, why don't we say that light is a complete wave?
हाँ आएंगे ना, अभी बोलने लग गए थे, like around this era, like 1800 के बाद में, like 1850s, 1870s, 1890s तक light was a wave only. Like we were only now discussing and researching the wave theory of light. ठीक है, 1900 में कुछ हुआ ऐसा जिसके बारे में बात करूंगा आप लोगों के साथ में, which led to this newer theory. ठीक है, so अभी let's not jump टाइम फ्रेम, अभी हम लोग 1850s में ही चल रहे हैं, ठीक है। एंड 1850s में दिस यंग्स डबल स्लिट एक्सपेरिमेंट हो गया था, काफी पहले हो गया था, दैट एस्टैब्लिश दिस वेव थ्योरी ऑफ लाइट, ठीक है। एंड उस वेव थ्योरी को अब थोड़ा सा डिटेल में समझा जा रहा है। तो उस वेव थ्योरी के कुछ पॉइंट्स एक एक करके मैं आपके सामने एलैबोरेट कर देता हूँ, ठीक है। लेट्स क्विकली गो थ्रू दोस पॉइंट्स इन अ स्टेप बाय स्टेप मैनर. सो we talk about these properties of waves. So you have like अभी थोड़ी देर पहले किसी ने pulse और wave form के बीच का अंतर पूछा था. This is a quick snapshot of trying to help you understand the difference.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll just quickly talk about the properties of waves, so that in future if I use these words wavelength, frequency, etc., everyone is on the same page. ठीक है. So जैसा आपके सामने ये wave form है, ठीक है, इस वेव फॉर्म, दिस इज लाइक अ सिंपल वेव फॉर्म इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू इन विच यू कैन सी क्रेस्ट्स एंड ट्रफ. क्रेस्ट्स क्या है? क्रेस्ट्स आर दीज you can say peaks, they are called as crests, and these valleys are called as troughs. So distance between successive crests or successive trough is what is called as wavelength. ठीक है, SI unit of wavelength will be meter only. However, when we are going to talk about like wavelengths that we come across practically, तो वो काफी छोटी हो सकती हैं, and that's why एक set of prefix use करे जाते हैं before that unit. तो ये prefix आप लोगों को पता होने चाहिए, ठीक है. I'm sure many of you are aware about these, but if you aren't, then what I would ask you is to remember these. ठीक है, जैसे for example, you know centimeter, millimeter, right? You know micrometer also, maybe nanometer also, ठीक है? But ये थोड़े से नए और हैं जो मैं आपको बोलूँगा याद रखने के लिए, like angstrom, picometer, femtometer, attometer. Do remember these ones as well. ठीक है? हाँ हाँ, I will be sharing these notes like the last time आप लोगों को जैसे recording मिला हुआ है, like I will be sharing the recording as well as these.
Sir, can you share this by today evening?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, I will.
Okay.
So increasing power of 10 में ये prefix use करे जाते हैं, डेका, किलो, हेक्टो, मेगा, गीगा, टेरा, पीटा, एक्सा, right? Decreasing power of 10 में these prefixes are used. Now इसमें just ये 10 की power -10 as angstrom is something which is only and only used for length measurement. ठीक है? बाकी ये prefixes generic हैं, right? जैसे for example 10 की power 3 is something which we use for various units. फॉर एग्जाम्पल डिस्टेंस की यूनिट्स के लिए हम लोग किलोमीटर यूज करते हैं, मास की यूनिट के लिए हम लोग किलोग्राम यूज करते हैं, राइट? सो यहाँ पर दिस किलो इज समथिंग व्हिच इज यूज्ड फॉर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ यूनिट्स एज वेल, ठीक है? सेम गोज विद अदर सच प्रीफिक्स एज वेल, बट ये एंगस्ट्रॉम वाला जो है, दिस इज ओनली एंड ओनली यूज्ड फॉर डिस्टेंस, ओनली एंड ओनली यूज्ड फॉर लेंथ एज अ प्रॉपर्टी. ये बस ध्यान रखना, ठीक है? Now, वेवलेंथ समझ में आया? वेवलेंथ में किसी को कुछ डाउट है? What is wavelength? It is represented by this symbol lambda. हाँ बोलो. All right. Then अच्छा चलो, if I ask you, अगर आपको ये समझ में आया है, right? Nanometer or angstrom.
Yes, sir.
So how much 100 nanometer would be in terms of angstrom?
1000.
ठीक है, बाकी लोग भी ट्राई कर लो. You should be able to get that answer. And हवा में करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है? आप लिख के करो. That's also fine. ठीक है? Some students require that time to, you know, do that working. So you take that time. All right. देख लो इसका वर्किंग कैसा है. Like 100 nanometer, right? And we wrote 1 nanometer is 10 raised to the power of 9 meter. So I substituted that nanometer over here. That 100 into nanometer is 10 की power -9 meter. ठीक है? Then this meter and angstrom का interconversion I knew that 1 angstrom is 10 raised to the power of -10 meter. So I can write 10 raised to the power of 10 angstrom is 1 meter. So I replace this meter with angstrom. And that meter became 10 raised to the power of 10 angstrom, right? And then I simplified the calculation. I got my answer as 1000 angstrom. ठीक है? अब ये मैंने इतना elaborate way में, इतना detailed way में इसलिए करा है so that those students who were making a careless mistake understand how to work with this. ठीक है? आप पहले conceptually समझ लो, बाद में fast तो आप हो ही जाओगे. ठीक है?
सर ये यूनिटरी मेथड से भी हो सकता है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, multiple ways in which you can go. I have taken this very elaborate way to talk about it. You could have done it in unitary method way also. ठीक है? All right. Next property समझेंगे हम लोग light का, और you can say waves का, is frequency, right? It is represented using this term called as nu. ठीक है? ऐसे ये v नहीं है. It is not v. It is like this curved v. न्यू बोलते हैं हम लोग इसको, और समटाइम्स ऐसे स्मॉल f से भी रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. वी कॉल इट एज फ्रीक्वेंसी. नाउ नोटिस करना दैट फॉर अ ट्रैवलिंग वेव द फ्रीक्वेंसी इज डिफाइंड एज number of cycles or number of wavelengths passing through a point in a second. So for example, let's say you have this pulse, ठीक है? और पूरा वेव फ्रंट ही मान लो, एक्चुअली नॉट पल्स, यू हैव अ वेव which is passing through this point. This is our reference point and ये time t equal to 0 का snapshot है, ठीक है. And then after 2 seconds or after 4 seconds actually I took another snapshot and what I found out was that this is the situation. So this wave has traveled across this point. Now how many wavelengths have traveled? I just did a quick calculation of it. So 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 wave, 4 wave, 5 wave. Okay, so number of waves that are passing through a point in 1 second. So यहाँ पर 5 waves pass through in 4 seconds, right? So what will be my frequency? Number of waves passed upon the time taken, that is 5 by 4 or 1.25 cycles per second, or I will just put it per second, or in the SI unit also called as hertz. So my frequency will be 1.25 hertz. ठीक है. There are 5 waves passing through in 4 seconds. ठीक है. नहीं ओके अर्णव, यहाँ पर आप नहीं 4.5 नहीं बोलोगे. लाइक ओके, लैम्डा का मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि क्रेस्ट और क्रेस्ट के बीच का डिस्टेंस को ही लैम्डा बोलेंगे. लाइक क्रेस्ट एंड क्रेस्ट के बीच के डिस्टेंस को भी आप लैम्डा बोलोगे, ट्रफ एंड ट्रफ के बीच के डिस्टेंस को भी आप लैम्डा बोलोगे. So what essentially lambda means is like capturing an entire wave. Like यहाँ से आप start किए, you went through this trough, you went through this crest, and then you ended up here. And इसके बाद फिर से repetition शुरू हो गया, ठीक है. Then you are again going through the repetition. So the uniqueness of the wave was captured in this wavelength. Rest all is copy paste. ठीक है.
So sir, if I continue this for 100 seconds, so there will be 101 wavelengths, right?
नहीं 125.
125 wavelengths.
Okay sir, got it.
ठीक है.
Yes sir.
So this is what is frequency is. Now speed of wave के बारे में भी समझना. Traveling waves के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग again. So speed is the same old definition only. It is the linear distance traveled by the wave per second. ठीक है. How much linear distance a wave travels in a unit time. So यहाँ पर notice करना, there comes an important relationship between speed, frequency and wavelength. Speed will be equal to frequency into wavelength, and you can notice this relationship. It comes from their definitions only. ठीक है. इसका derivation is quite simple. It comes from their definitions. कैसे आप notice करना, frequency क्या था? Frequency was number of cycles or
one by time.
हाँ, 1 by time बोल दो, या फिर just जो definition मैंने ऊपर लिया है 1 by time period होता है actually. But हाँ, यहाँ पर अगर मैं ऊपर वाला definition ले रहा हूँ, number of cycles, number of wavelengths that are passing through a point in 1 second. ठीक है. So अगर let's say 5 waves are passing through a point in 1 second. ठीक है. 5 waves are passing through a point in 1 second. Then what will be the distance covered? ठीक है. What will be the linear distance that will be covered? So each wave is covering lambda linear distance. Like ये जो linear distance cover हो रहा है, that is lambda. Now 5 into that wavelength lambda will be the total distance covered by the wave in 1 second duration, and that is what speed is. Speed is distance traveled upon the time taken. Hence the formula v is equal to nu into lambda. ये फॉर्मूला समझ में आया आपको?
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
काफी सिंपल है, डेफिनेशन से ही आ जाता है.
सर वो सिंबल कौन सा है जिसमें वो वी कर्व हो गया है?
हाँ, इसको न्यू बोलते हैं. दिस सिंबल ना, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज न्यू. दिस इज द सिंबल.
नहीं सर, उससे पहले वो स्पीड वाला.
हाँ नहीं, ये तो एक्चुअली मैंने यहाँ पे एक अलग से इस तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट कर दिया. लाइक यू वुड हैव चोजन टू जस्ट use simple v also. इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Like you could have used this v also. ऐसा भी चलेगा. ठीक है.
सर जो म्यू सिंबल होता है वो थोड़ा बहुत यू जैसा होता है ना?
हाँ हाँ, म्यू इज डिफरेंट. तो जैसे यहाँ पर आप लोगों ने ये माइक्रो का सिंबल देखा था, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज म्यू, MU. ठीक है, दिस इज द म्यू सिंबल. व्हाट फ्रीक्वेंसी का सिंबल इज कॉल्ड एज न्यू, NU. ठीक है, थोड़ा अंतर है दोनों में. ठीक है. All right. Then there is another property of waves called as wave number. ठीक है, this is represented by the symbol nu bar. ठीक है, nu के सिंबल के ऊपर ऐसे डैश का साइन बना देंगे. We call it nu bar, and this basically represents the number of wavelengths per unit length. Right? So ये ऐसा unitary method से you can understand that lambda अगर wavelength मान लो 1 सेंटीमीटर है, ठीक है, और यू कैन से 10⁻⁻10 मीटर है, तो 1 मीटर में कितने वेवलेंथ आएंगे. तो आप ऐसे यूनिटरी मेथड से
सर ऑल्सो
बता सकते हो.
सर in that micro and nano and all that, so means what is it with respect to, means
with respect
meter
to
or
meter.
Okay.
All of it is with respect to meter. So SI unit of wavelength is meter, right? And these prefixes are with respect to meter only. So like 1 centimeter will be 10⁻⁻2 meter. 1 nanometer will be 10⁻⁻9 meter. ठीक है. All right. So coming back, this was the fourth property associated with waves, which is called as wave number, right? And then there is this last property. Sorry, my bad. There is this last property associated with waves. Well, not the last property, but हाँ, अभी हमारे discussion के लिए जितना काफी है, that is called as amplitude. So you can understand the amplitude as the maximum displacement from the mean position. Like this dashed line is the mean position. तो ये कितना ऊपर wave या कितना नीचे wave जा रहा है. Like height of the crest or the height of the trough from the mean position is what is reported as the amplitude of the wave. Right? So
सर
हाँ,
एम्पलीट्यूड का SI यूनिट क्या है?
meters ही मान के चलो आप. It's meters only, like you are measuring the displacement from mean position. Now,
sir, but we have learned that amplitude unit is decibel.
नहीं, that is
sound का.
Loud.
That is loudness.
Loudness भी नहीं, sound level.
Now,
sir, can you explain that wave number again?
हाँ, wave number is just, you can say, reciprocal of the wavelength. ठीक है, इसको आप इस तरीके से, इसका definition जो है, like यहाँ पर एक बार समझना, अगर wavelength है say like 100 meters, ठीक है, that is the wavelength. Then 1 meter में कितने wavelengths आ जाएंगे? So how many wavelengths are there per unit length? That is what wave number talks about.
Okay, sir.
Now, ये 4-5 properties हैं waves की. Frequency, wavelength, speed, wave number, amplitude. ठीक है, इनमें से भी ये जो दो पहली हैं, wavelength and frequency, ये हम लोग काफी elaborate करेंगे, काफी यूज करेंगे as we are going to talk about the wave theory of light. ठीक है, so आगे इनका काफी यूज रहता है. ठीक है, even after studying the quantum theory of light, these terms would be used. So I wanted you to be familiar with these properties of waves. Now, notice करना, as I said that this was now the theory which was put forward in 1800 and around that era. Okay, so 1850s, 1870s में when this theory of electromagnetism came, okay, it further built up on this wave theory of light. It kind of helped us understand more details about what light is. So James Clerk Maxwell, right, in his theory of electromagnetism, he proposed, or he developed this theory that light is electromagnetic wave. Now होता क्या है electromagnetic wave और electromagnetic radiation, उसके बारे में मैं आपको एक थोड़ा सा आइडिया दूंगा. Although again you will have to take that leap of faith with me, because you will not be able to get into the details of the theory of electromagnetism. So as a context, as a quick context, we started with the particle theory of light. We talked about कि Newton ने अपने ज़माने में he presented those corpuscles of light का theory in which light was considered to be particle. Then soon after that, the wave theory of light emerged, which was validated by Thomas Young's double slit experiment, that light actually behaves like wave. And we are seeing various experimental observations of light which are explained by its wave behavior. One of the most common one is this phenomena of interference. And then we understood about certain properties of waves, which will come handy to us, like wavelength, frequency, wave number, speed of wave, amplitude. ये सब properties हमने study कर ली. However, there is this still a curious question जो अभी just थोड़ी देर पहले ही I think किसी ने पूछा था, that how can we talk about wave, light as a wave if it was traveling through vacuum, like, because for waves, like, there is a necessity of medium, right? However, that was an understanding again during the initial phases of understanding of waves. Around 1870s, what happens is that this James Clerk Maxwell ka theory of electromagnetism, it helps understand what actually light is, where does it come from, what is its origin, and this is what we are now going to talk about. So यहाँ पर देखना, around 1870s, he proposed this theory in which he concluded that light is an electromagnetic wave. Now, what is an electromagnetic wave or electromagnetic radiation? ध्यान से observe करना. When a charged particle, ठीक है, ये statement just मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है, when a charged particle accelerates, an alternating electrical and magnetic field is produced. These fields are transmitted in form of waves called as electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. Now, when I would have said this statement out loud, I am sure that आपको शायद ही कुछ समझ में आया होगा. Like, you would have not been able to understand that what is this, what is this charge accelerating, what is this electric field and magnetic field alternating, and like what is this transmission that is being called as electromagnetic wave. So now थोड़ा सा मैं background context देता हूँ, ठीक है, just trying to help you understand. So consider a situation where you have a charged particle. Okay? You have a Q stationary charged particle. Okay? Now this charged particle has an electric field around it. Okay? Of course, don't go into the details of asking me, sir, what is charge, what is electric field, because these are some fundamental questions which I will not have an answer to, because these properties like charge, like mass, these are certain fundamental properties that we have observed around us. and what we have done is understood those properties and developed our theories over and above those fundamental properties. Like, so for example, today we have a theory of gravitation which is
Yes,
built
sir.
over this
It means
fundamental
that these are kept as axioms and we have made postulates over.
हाँ, right. So उसी तरीके से charge is a fundamental property associated with matter, right? So we have this charged object, and right now what you have in front of you is a charged object which is stationary. ठीक है, stationary word important है. जब ये charge stationary रहता है, ठीक है, what we see is that it has got a electric field around it, and that electric field is uniform. ठीक है, आप लोगों ने जूनियर क्लासेस में शायद पढ़ा भी होगा, like इस electric field को represent करने के लिए there are these electric field lines which are drawn. ठीक है, now again these are not something visible lines, these are something which are drawn based on if we bring another charged particle in the vicinity of our original particle, then how that charged particle is going to behave is what helps us understand this electric field around the charged particle. Okay? So I hope you understand what is charge. I hope you understand what is electric field around a charge. Okay? These are some very fundamental concepts associated with matter. The thing which I want you to focus right now is that if a charged particle is stationary, then the electric field around it is uniform. Okay? What is meant by uniform? Like it is
equally distributed, constant.
Constant, or you can say consistent around the particle. However, when this charged particle is accelerated, when this charged particle moves and it undergoes acceleration, then what happens is that this electric field around the particle, it becomes disturbed. It is no more uniform now, it becomes disturbed, or we say it oscillates. And this oscillating electric field around a particle, it somehow, again, can't go into the details of it, it somehow gives rise to an oscillating magnetic field also. This is what actually James Clerk Maxwell in his theory related electricity and magnetism to. Like he said that magnetism ka origin actually lies in electricity only. So what happens is, because this charged particle is now accelerated, its electric field, it gets disturbed, it oscillates, right? जो uniform field था, अब वो oscillate कर रहा है, वो अब disturb हो चुका है, and उसकी वजह से ये magnetic field generate हो रहा है, which is also an oscillating magnetic field. ठीक है, and this oscillating electric and magnetic field, ठीक है, which is transmitted, ठीक है, this oscillating electric and magnetic field which is traveling, or which is, you can say, is transmitted, is what is called as an electromagnetic wave or electromagnetic radiation. Now, this oscillation or this disturbance is something that can happen with different frequencies. ठीक है, ये जो electric field था, इसका जो oscillation हो रहा है, इसका जो disturbance हो रहा है, ये different frequencies पे हो सकता है. It could be oscillating quite rapidly or oscillating quite slowly. So ये जो electric field की frequency of oscillation रहेगी, that will give you different types of electromagnetic radiations. And what we can see as light is a part of this, or is actually this electromagnetic radiation only, with frequency under a certain range. ठीक है, so इसको elaborate करने के लिए, like to help you understand this oscillation part, ठीक है, there is this representation which is used. ठीक है, so what you are seeing, ठीक है, जैसे ये electric field है, ठीक है, electric field की एक uniform value होगी, ठीक है, when the charge was stationary, ठीक है, when the charge was stationary, right, this electric field had a uniform value, ठीक है, around this charged particle. For example, अगर मैं अब यहाँ पर like एक दूसरे चार्ज पार्टिकल को लेकर आऊंगा, ठीक है, and if it is at some distance, say r from the original particle, then this new charge particle, say q dash, is going to experience an electric field, ठीक है, and उसकी वजह से एक इलेक्ट्रिक फोर्स आएगा, ठीक है, सिमिलर टू समथिंग जो आप लोगों ने से ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स पढ़ा होगा, ठीक है, वैसा एक इलेक्ट्रिक फोर्स आता है, ठीक है. नॉट गेटिंग इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट, व्हाट दिस न्यू charge particle coming closer to the original charge particle is going to experience is a uniform field, and उसकी वजह से एक uniform force experience होगा, ठीक है. But when this charge particle undergoes acceleration, तो उसके अराउंड का जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड है ये डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है, इट स्टार्ट्स ऑसिलेटिंग, ठीक है. डिस्टर्ब का मतलब यहाँ पर द डिस्टर्बेंस इज पीरियोडिक इन नेचर, दैट इज व्हाई वी आर कॉलिंग इट ऑसिलेटिंग. सो जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड की वैल्यूज हैं दे काइंड ऑफ इंक्रीज डिक्रीज, लाइक दैट इज अ वे ऑफ ट्राइंग टू हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड ऑसिलेशन इज, ठीक है. इंक्रीज डिक्रीज.
Sir, so the value of magnetic field is even same when the particle is set in motion or it is disturbed?
हाँ, so what is happening or what happens is that because of this oscillating electric field, a new, or you can say a magnetic field is also generated, which is also oscillating only, okay. It is also not a uniform
So magnetic field and electric field are the two faces of the single coin, and if one changes, the other has to change.
हाँ. This is what the conclusion came from the theory of electromagnetism, but for us to understand that right now is not something easy, because honestly speaking आप लोगों ने तो electric field ही नहीं पढ़ा है, आपने magnetic field ही नहीं पढ़ा है, right? So I am just banking on this fact that you have at least heard these words before, okay. I am just banking on this fact that most of you are not familiar with what electric field is, what magnetic field is, but you have heard these terms before, okay. So what is it that I'm trying to help you understand is that because of these properties of electric field and magnetic field which are present, okay, what we observe are these electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. So when this stationary charge particle underwent acceleration, these oscillating electric and magnetic fields, okay, which are related to each other, they are transmitted, and these transmissions are what are called as electromagnetic waves. Now,
Sir,
bolo Prakash.
Sir, I have a doubt.
सर मेरा ये डाउट है, इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड है सर, वो पॉजिटिव में ही रहना चाहिए ना, वो अगर वेव में जा रहा है तो वो नेगेटिव क्यों बनता है?
नहीं, when I say oscillation, like it is increasing and decreasing, आप उस point of view से सोचो.
सर लेकिन मीन पोजीशन तो 0 रहेगा और उसके नीचे तो नेगेटिव रहेगा ना.
नहीं, वो हमारा, see, choosing a mean position is our convention. It's a convention based choice. If you want to understand oscillation, just simply understand it as increasing or decreasing.
तो यहाँ पे मेन पोजीशन ओरिजिनल वैल्यू रहेगा ना?
वो चॉइस है, हम रख सकते हैं.
Sir,
हाँ.
Sir, in this, an electrical field will be around a charged particle, right? And an electrical field is due to a charged particle in acceleration. So when we think of it as a transmission, then it is not around a charged particle, it is getting emitted from a charged particle. So how will it get emitted from a charged particle? Because an electrical field will only exist around a charged particle.
नहीं, around नहीं, ये even when you have this stationary charged particle, right, इसके अराउंड जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड प्रेजेंट है, right, that electric field is being, you can say, transmitted. Like this source is this charged particle, and is charged particle के around the electric field lines are drawn. So that electric field is present around this charged particle, and that electric field is, you can say, felt by any other charged particle which will come in its vicinity.
Yes, sir. So an electric field is felt only when a charged particle comes in its vicinity, but we are emitting something. When an electromagnetic wave goes straight from the sun to the earth, the sun is emitting it, right? It is it is not that only around certain kilometers of the sun we can feel it. The sun is emitting it. So how does that happen? Because it should only be present around it, as you told.
No. So that is what happens when we change from this stationary to the charge undergoing acceleration. This is what happens, that from the stationary, you can say, situation of the charge, now if the charge is under acceleration, right, and if you want to get into this even more fundamental aspect of it, you can think of it as energy. Okay, so what is actually happening with this transmission? It is the energy which is getting transferred from one region to another region. Okay, this is what is happening, that when this charged particle undergoes acceleration, this energy is traveling, is being transmitted. And what is this energy? This is this electromagnetic wave. अभी समझ में आया आपको?
Yes, sir.
So the particle will keep losing its kinetic energy when it is moving.
Right. So not just say kinetic energy, it will lose energy. Let's be specific in terms of only energy only. Let's not talk about one particular type of energy. This is what Maxwell's theory was, that when the charged particle is under acceleration, like, it will lose energy. How it will lose energy? In form of these electromagnetic radiations. Okay. Now, this is something which was given by the theory of electromagnetism, which was trying to elaborate what light is. Okay, and what we understand, that light is actually this electromagnetic wave or radiation only of particular frequencies or wavelengths which our eyes can see. Okay, so अच्छा, हाँ, right, actually 10 o'clock हो ही गया, my bad, I did not realize the time. ठीक है, so I think let's take a pause here only. We will resume from here in the next class.
Okay, thank you.
Which I will give in some more details about these electromagnetic waves and radiations, and then we are going to move towards the quantum theory of light.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
I understand. Okay. Chalo, thank you guys. Take care.